Hi, everyone. Carmine Disco here with UIA TV. Got another great education series show for you today. We did a little practicing earlier today. We got some really cool stuff happening, but our guest today is really, really good at what she does. And I'm going to bring on my co host here, Mr. Christopher Guerrera. What's happening,
Hey,
Chris?
Carmine, how's it going? We got a great guest today.
I
We
know.
got Nisha Sawhney. I love working with Nisha. She's got this pretty cool company called SnS Design, and she's got some really cool things that she's working on. So it'll be fun to hear how she got started and where she's taken her company. But even more so, she's launching some new programs in her company, and I think it'll help all of our entrepreneurs and inventor friends.
Yeah. Chris, when we were talking earlier today, as Nisha was explaining how the program works and keeping everything in sequence, I mean, it really makes sense. And I can't wait to hear how she came up with it throughout and, how it's going to help our listeners and our inventors. Why don't you go ahead and bring her on? Let's get this going.
Yeah, Carmine, I think as these guys, ask a lot of questions, it gets time consuming, right? Like to be involved in it and to have gone through it. It's one thing to talk about it and say you've done it, as opposed to really doing it. It takes out that whole misunderstanding of things that might happen versus what things that really do happen. So, Nisha's got that background where she's been through the storm. She's come out the backside. So let's bring her on. So, hey, Nisha, welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Carmine, for having me on UIA.
And I will have full disclosure, right? I've worked with Nisha in the past. She is one of the brightest, sharpest individuals I've worked with in regard to design and business. She's really, really easy to work with. I mean, that's part of what I enjoy, is working with someone so easy. She understands manufacturing. She really gets the conversation and can really provide a world-class service.
Thank you so much, Chris. It was really, it was great working with you too. And Carmine, and what you're doing for inventors is amazing.
Yeah,
I think this is really, it's a must that we should do all this together to help inventors and entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. So Nisha, let's start there. Let's start with you. You got a long history of a professional background and a really successful business doing things with Shark Tank. Let's start. Where did you get started? How did it all start for you, right, to get to this point you're at now, where you're really supplying and working with global entrepreneurs?
It's a long story. Are you ready to listen?
We got an hour.
All right. I'll try to make it as short as I can. All this started, I think, like I was creative even when I was a child, growing up with my siblings, like older brother and sisters. It's just like everyone had their own interests, but I was watching them, how they were progressing, even like designing drawings for biology and stuff. It was just very fascinating. And I was involved with the art competition in schools. So it was fun that with winning some competitions. Then in my school, I started making hand painted greeting cards, and I sold to my own friends. so like for birthday cards, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, all those kind of stuff. So it was very interesting. I liked that idea to be creative. And my mom was also very creative. She was doing a lot of dry flower arrangement. I mean, always busy, like arts and crafts was always there. And then I think when I was growing up, I designed bunk bed because we were 4 kids, and for some reason I designed it and I had no idea what I was doing, but it was, I remember that. And my dad was very, I think it's a blessing to have parents like that who are very open-minded, who let you do whatever you want to do, and always encouraging us. He said I'm going to support you till your 12th grade, and the rest is you. You will have to make it for yourself. You'll have to stand on your own feet. So whatever you pick, be careful what you're picking, and you should be passionate about it, which was, I think, the best thing he told us. And coming from Indian background, not many parents are so open for the kids to let them do whatever they want to do. They're either doctor, engineer, and they're very set rules. So my dad was a scientist in defense, and he really wanted me to become a scientist, but he didn't like force me. He's like, oh, maybe think about it. And I was like, I will think about it. But we didn't go through that round. But then I went into architecture. And architecture was a very new field at that time. And well, we did it. I did 5 years in architecture, but it was kind of like slow for me. Like I was kind of bored to see designing something and actually getting it built takes more than a year or two. And then you're never, I mean, you will reach to that level of making decisions, but it will take a while to get to that level in an architectural firm. So I thought I want to do something more detailed, which is industrial design, which is you're designing something in the architectural field, spaces, but all the product that goes into a building. So I really enjoyed, and I was very interested in that because we had a very small department, industrial design department in my school. And I saw one of my seniors, they were taking the whole, like a big bullet, like a bike in an elevator. I was like, what are you going to do with that? And they're like, oh, we're going to open it apart and understand how this is built. It's like the bike. It was just so interesting to me that, oh, they're going to check everything out, like how it was built, and then put it together. So then I basically went ahead and did my master's in industrial design, which was very, very, very eye-opening as well as interesting to me. And it was a small department, so our teachers, like very few teachers were there, which was actually a good thing because our faculty, they brought people from outside the field, like in real field, if they were in manufacturing or product development, they came to teach us as a visiting faculty. So literally, they took us to the manufacturing plant to learn, so which was great. So we learned by going to these places, not sitting in the class, which was great. And then I started working with a small design firm, which is also good to work with for a small design firm because you get to do a lot of things. You get a lot of responsibilities. Versus a large company, you might just do sketching for a product design, you know? Whereas I had the opportunity to go work on LG projects right after school, like the second year out of school. And I was managing 5 engineers under me. They're LG engineers as well as my design company, my boss's engineers. And then I went to South Korea to get all those designs approved, came back, went to the LG headquarters. So it was fun doing that. And the best part about my previous job was that I had all the freedom in the sense that if we need to work on the LG project, we were working from morning to night to the next day. You know, we were just giving all in. But on the way to the LG headquarters, I had my own personal projects I was doing. So I had my exhibition design on the sides, which are my own clients. I had my own contractors working on these, like basically the booth design, which you go to these shows now. So I was designing all that on the side, which I started while I was doing my master's. So I always was interested in doing different things at one time, managing different projects at the same time. So, which was great. And I worked on projects like Whirlpool, LG, designed a refrigerator from concept to getting it approved to the production line in 6 months, which is really, really fast. LG was setting up a plant in India, and that's when I was basically a part of it. I designed TV for them, a lot of other things. So home appliance, did a lot of experience in that with plastics, injection molding, all of it. So working closely with engineers was very fun and informative. And then also seeing like how these Fortune 500 companies produce so fast and quickly, like their speed to market was really, really fascinating, especially for LG. While as, I mean, I don't want to take names for the companies, whereas some other company might take 2 years for the same project. So it was very, very fun to work in that kind of environment. And then I actually started my company in New York when I moved to the New York City. And I started as a freelancer. I was just basically, I didn't have much experience, but I was like, you know, I am getting a lot of job offers, but looking at like 9 to 5, and I might just do only one product like all the time or just do sketching because they might not consider me as a senior designer because 3 years after school, like, who would give you responsibility to take a product from start to end. So I thought, let me just try freelancing. I took every project I was getting, point of purchase, graphic design, packaging, and products. So one of my first product I designed was basically a baby crib made in fabric, wood, and leather, all made in Italy. So my client was an entrepreneur. Actually, he was an attorney, and he had a baby, and he's like, oh, I really want something really cool and high-end because I couldn't find anything for a baby crib. So I designed a great product with Krypton fabric, odor-resistant, stain-resistant product, sent all the files into Italy, got all the prototypes done. They had a show at Javits Center. It was all sold, and that crib was around $3,500 a piece. So it's very high-end, custom-made product. I have a patent on that with my client. And the idea for that crib is to grow with the kid. So it's a baby crib, but when the child grows older, it becomes a day bed. And then once it's older, or he or she's older, then you can also convert it as a day a love seat. So like, so it's a long durability of the product, long life cycle of the product. Because it's an expensive product and a quality product, I wanted to have that kind of lifetime for that, or any product that we design. And that was a big start. And then I started getting more clients in home appliance. I worked with Haier, I worked with Amcor, all kind of appliance, air conditioner, air purifier. So LG helped a lot. I asked my other baby crib clients, like, why you picked me? Because there's so many American designers. And he's like, because of your LG projects. They're really clean, nice design, and you present it very well. So I was like, perfect. So it was good to know from my client what my client saw in me. It kind of adds value, like, okay, this is what I can leverage, and I can just expand on it. So working with so many Fortune 500 companies, and then during this time, I always worked with a lot of entrepreneurs and startups as well. So many independent inventors. But at that time, I didn't have the capabilities of prototyping or the connections for manufacturing or all the other things, So, I mean, taking a product from start to end, there are like 100 steps in it, and all different kind of expertise required, like patent attorneys and even trademark or copyright. So now, after so many years, I've built up such a valuable pool of experts that we are basically providing everything for our client under one roof, from concept to patent to trademark, for prototyping, manufacturing, branding, packaging, animation, everything under one roof, and which is great. And also like connecting with people like yourself, which has helped a lot expand that pool and gives my client the best experts to do their job in a much efficient way and cost-effective way. So this is what I've done. And I've also designed my own products, and Coach My Idea is my one business. I have another medical product that I designed and filed patent. So I'm myself as an inventor, multiple business owner, and so I've learned a lot from other people. I'm still learning. So that's where I am now.
Yeah, Nisha, when I listen to you talk, it just solidifies what I know about you, right? And working with you, that you're able to take an idea, truly an idea, and turn it into a real product. Not many people can do that. It takes a special mind, special skill set. It's pretty interesting. Hey, talk about, I saw you on a cover of Forbes magazine. Tell me about that a little bit.
So my PR person, Fred, he's really amazing person. We've been working together for many years, and he presented this to Danielle for the magazine, and he said it's a young entrepreneur, designer, and company, and she is coming up with two new products in totally two different lines, but still related to product. So he was very interested in learning about what I do, how I reach to this level. and what am I doing next? So that's what I think he really wanted to cover, and he's still open for me to go back to him once it's launched, like my medical device as well as Coach My Idea, to go back and then we do another story with him, even with CEO Radio. So Forbes, that's how it started, and I was fortunate to be interviewed by Daniel, which was great.
Yeah, these journeys are interesting. I even think about my own, my own self as an engineer, starting at 13, really liking, working with my hands and really wanting to understand how something worked. And then I was telling, I think Brandy the other day, like math and science for me come natural. It's not, that's kind of a gift, right? Not a lot of people like math, but I always found math was easy for me. And so was science, things like geography and history. For me, they're not, like, some things are boring, right? And some things are exciting. Like math was always exciting. Science was exciting. And even like this journey to Shark Tank, I remember talking to my son about it and just saying, this is like a long year. He goes, a long year? You've been working on this for 10 years. You just don't even realize it, right? You're doing a little bit every day, every year. I've been watching you as my dad grow into this business owner. And you've always had these skill sets, and now you took it to a whole nother platform. So these journeys aren't easy, right? They're long, and you have a lot of pitfalls, a lot of falling down and brushing yourself off. So talk about that a little bit, Nisha, because I know you had to have some failures or some areas. Maybe you look back now with your expertise and said, yeah, I might have done that a little bit different now with my experience.
Oh, yes. I got experience in so many different levels that just as a business owner, you learn so much, like, wearing so many different hats at the same time. And how do you balance your personal life, your health and emotions and everything? I remember the first time when I cried because of a client. I was like, what? This happens to business people? Like, how is it happening to you? I was so emotionally attached. I had to learn. I remember, like when you're freelancing, the people always take advantage of you. Even now, now I'm much more aware of it. I make sure legally I'm very well protected, so no one can take advantage of me. But there were people who would say oh, give us a design. You haven't given us enough, and I'm not going to use it anymore, so I'm not going to pay you. What are you going to do? As a young designer, it's really hard for them. Like, what? I did so much work and you're not going to pay me? You don't have that much legal background. Like, you can fight back. You get too emotional. This is what I'm talking about, way back. But I learned. I was like, fine. Sometimes you have to lose to learn something. And yeah, I lost that money. But then the next time someone else tried to do the same thing, I sued them. And the next day I got the check in mail. So I learned, So there's always things that happens, but you always have to keep learning from the mistakes. So yeah, in terms of business, I learned that. And I can't say I wish I knew what I know now, because it's just a life process, right? You learn it. For some reason, you learn certain things at certain time, and that's it. I could have helped my other previous clients before with some other options, so they don't lose their idea or get distracted with something else. And just a lot of great ideas I've seen die just because clients don't have commitment or have some other things that they have to take care of, or they lose interest, or they didn't know the whole process. So it happens. Life happens with a lot of people. And me too. I learned, even Coach My Idea learned a lot when I was designing this. Because this is online platform. I don't have that much expertise in online platform. And I've hired and fired so many people to bring this product to life. And finally, when I found the right partner or a friend and an advisor who's also mentoring me, he is a serial entrepreneur. And it's amazing that he was so busy all this time, and unfortunately, with COVID, whatever happened, but fortunately, a lot of people also had extra time to think about other things. And he had enough time on his hands that, oh, Nisha, I can help you with this now. So I was like, perfect, you are going to be on board. And Eder Hogan is a serial entrepreneur in SaaS business. He knows how to build and sell and exit. And I was like, this is what I wanted to be as my advisor and mentor for this product, because I don't know all the steps for online business, when to launch, how to do marketing affiliate programs, or how to raise funds for this type of product from investor. What do you need to present? I know everything about product development, like physical product, but not online business. So I learned a lot during this time.
Yeah,
My
you know,
medical
Anisha, I think,
yeah.
like you said, you know, in order to be a good winner, you have to understand that there's going to be some losing, right? I don't like losing in anything I do, but it's made me become a better winner, right?
Yeah.
So I always say that, yeah, I don't lose because it doesn't feel good and it's not fun. So you've learned all the things in the past. So, you know, I want to cover this, coach my idea a little bit more. I want to wait just a little bit in the show because I want to cover a little bit of when someone comes to you, like you've learned a lot about entrepreneurs and inventors coming to you, maybe, you know, doing a lot of things more, probably more, or answering more questions that you want to, and it takes a lot of time. And you have a lot of people doing that. It's incredibly stressful and time consuming. So your Coach My Idea has a really nice platform now for entrepreneurs and inventors to really go to and fill it out. So we'll cover that in some detail. But if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an inventor and I have an idea and I come to you, I've seen you in action. So I've seen you take the simplest form of presentation and turn it into a masterpiece. Honestly, I mean, you're very detailed, you're very organized, you ask the right questions, you're very thorough, you really cover everything 100%, not just the front end. You look at the back end as well, which I think is equally as important. So what as an inventor or an entrepreneur, when I come to you, what are you looking for from me to give you to really manage a project and to take it to that next level and get it into the market?
Sure, yeah. As an entrepreneur or inventor, when they come to me, usually we do like an hour consultation, which is kind of like grilling into what their goals are, ultimate goals. And while I'm talking to them, I also try to understand what background they come from, what is what are their expertise, what is their industry that they fall into. And the reason I ask these questions is because maybe there are other things that I can utilize already what they have. For example, someone is working in advertising agency and he has a product idea, he or she has a product idea. It's like, great, I'll design it and you know how to advertise, so you can save money on that part. Or if someone is in a billing or financial department or a legal department, I try to save them cost in those expertise, what they already have. So that's the X factor, what they already have, you know, try to get them out of their comfort zone as like, all right, you already have these. But anyway, coming back to your question is, overall, people have a goal to start a business or invent a product, something that they always have in mind, but they forget about it. Like why they created this product or invention in the first place. How is it going to benefit them, their family, their financial situation, and what kind of commitment they can provide, or in terms of financial time and resources for this product, because it's a big piece. It's a project in itself. Or if they just want to try it out and give someone else the job to do it and the money to do it, then we come in like, okay, this is what you want to create. We'll take care of everything. You just fund us, you know, and give us approval. So what I want from the entrepreneur is to really give like a day just to think about this. Like, why are they creating a product or an idea in the first place? How is it going to benefit them or their family? Is it going to bring revenue, or is it just something they want to just try out? Or they want to turn this product into a real business, or something that they want to create and sell and exit out? Or just give it to their family, you know, or want to create a business for their family or for their kids. So who knows what their main like goals are. So certain things they have to like align business, personal goals when they get to this level, because it will take a lot of energy and money to bring something to market.
And that's what sometimes the missing conception is it's quick to market. It doesn't cost a lot. Like, are you looking for someone to give you 3D drawings? I mean, again, I've seen you work on sketches, literally hand-drawn sketches, and turn them into a masterpiece. But I know that's not what you prefer.
No, you can come with even a Whirlpool concept. I'll take that. No, seriously, we had a client, the bankers, and they didn't know how to even sketch something. So they just had Whirlpool concept, and basically we take it from there and made it all the way to QVC and Bed Bath and Beyond. We took them to China to get all that molds and everything done together. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can just come with even a Whirlpool concept. But we have to be just absolutely clear why you're doing it, like how important is it for you? Because there are other people too that, oh, maybe this thing will be good, but they have no idea. They didn't even do a research like, is it actually worth it to invest time and money? Is there a need for it? You know?
Yeah, and I think, like you said, a lot of that should be done early on, early stages before you actually go and spend a boatload of cash on doing 3D models and prints and not having a patent or not even knowing if it has a need or in the marketplace. You know, everyone does that. Everyone thinks that the product that they have is the best one, and there is a need. And they ask their friends, which I always say, don't ask your friends, don't ask your family. Ask complete strangers, somebody who's not afraid to hurt your feelings. In reality, because that's what you need.
Absolutely. I mean, I myself, as an inventor, I did so much research for my medical device. It was such a new field for me to get into hospitals, right? I don't know how they work and what is the process for them to do a pilot test of a product. So it was a different field. But I had to talk to several anesthesiologists because I don't know if it's worth putting so much money and energy into this product. So yeah, I had to talk to so many doctors and understand, or insurance company type companies to figure out. I had to do all my research work before I filed patent.
Yeah, and launching is not for the weak. Long story short, it's a long, detailed, expensive process. So everyone talks about licensing being easier, but licensing, it has its own little niches as well. I mean, it's not something you're just going to call up one company and license a product. That has its own process. But launching is very, very different, not for the weak. So what would you say, like for what your experience, what's the first thing an inventor needs to do? What are the first few steps? A lot of people say, I need to get a provisional. I need to get a patent. You know, what are the first steps that you see? What really are the true process?
So the true process, which I've followed for so many years, is research. Research so much that you exhaust your research, like Google search, Yahoo, images, whatever kind of product name you want to post, and just do research as much as you can. Check on Amazon, check on eBay, or any other places, and then similar products that would exist in the market, similar to what their idea is. And then once you saturated all that, then go to a patent attorney to do a patent search and give them all this information. Look, I've done so much research. These are all the things that I found, and then get the patent search done. So they know clearly what you've researched and what your product is. And of course, you also have to keep in mind your business aspect for it. Like if you want to make this product globally available, you want to patent in different countries, then you do have to do a global patent search. Or if you're just focused on US market, then you shrink that market and you save some money here. Because it is expensive to do worldwide patent and then worldwide filing patent. So that's the first thing, research, patent research, and then go to the next level in the sense like how you can make this better. Read all the reviews for similar products, the bad reviews and the good reviews, and see how you can make your product really, really good. How you can give the same kind of benefit, or actually better benefits and features in your product. That will reduce the cost and help entrepreneurs, consumers. And then there are different steps for designing and then,
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so now you've done a lot of work, right? You've done all of this. You've got all this background, and you really do have a pretty unique background. Not many people can say they have a background like yours. That you got pretty involved with LG and international companies. I mean, I had that pleasure of doing that as well, which has got its own unique process all by itself. And there's so much to learn in that. So you did all this work. You got yourself at a point. Now you say, okay, I've got inventors coming to me, and some of these folks, right, really don't understand the process. You come up with a new one called Coach My Idea, which I think is genius. So walk us through that a little bit. Again, these are all different processes and platforms that you've learned over the years to now fine tune it and make it even better for entrepreneurs and inventors. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so basically how I came up with Coach My Idea, as I explained, worked with so many entrepreneurs, shopping around, and I started putting a consultation fee for them, and then half of them dropped, but I still wanted to help them and make sure they avoid all kind of mistakes that people are making, spending 14 grands to 25 grands in filing a non-provisional patent without doing the research, and then they have no money left to do the rest of it. So they come to me that, hey, can you design my product and I'll give you equity? I said, there's nothing there in your product. There's no equity right now because there's not even a prototype. What kind of equity I'm getting? So I was like, I'm not an investment company, but I will guide you. I will teach you the right process so you don't make any other mistakes anymore. So, but then, there are other people who cannot even afford my consultation fee. So like, I have to replace myself and create an online platform where people can go and learn the process and avoid these kind of mistakes and know the right process, steps and stages, and they can do it at their own pace when they want it, right? And this is like a crash course, not even for one product idea, but for all the other ideas they might have. So they can use this process again and again and again, which I've used it several times for my clients and for myself, right? So Coach My Idea is basically a platform for entrepreneur to guide them through a very simplified path to success, while providing them with building blocks and tools that's necessary for their product success. So Coach My Idea is kind of like creating a roadmap, coaching, manage projects, and right expert at the right time. What you see now in the industry, there are so many other platforms exist, but they're all scattered and they're hard to use. You have LinkedIn for experts, but you have let's just say Kickstarter to raise funds. You have so many other platforms, but no one is teaching the process. Like, what's the right process? Like, okay, you cannot go to Kickstarter unless you have a fully functional working prototype and a great video and you're ready for manufacturing. So you should not even waste your time. And everything is expensive. So you need to know the right process so you know when to put, how much fund to put at what time. And so Coach My Idea is basically, you validate your idea. We provide you a non-disclosure agreement just to get started, because a lot of people don't even know that you need a non-disclosure agreement before they start sharing their idea to the world. So, some people actually put up their provisional patent on Facebook and social media. It's like, you don't do that. Like, and she has 5,000 followers. I was like, well, take that down right now. Like, what are you doing? So 6 non-disclosure agreements. And once they go to the non-disclosure agreement, there are different modules. So what I've suggested and Coach My Idea is like, these are the modules you go by the sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you don't want to follow the sequence, you don't want to do the research, maybe you have done research already, you can go to the second module or the third module. And each module has stages and steps. Because, for example, let's just say you're filing a patent. Even patent has some stages and steps. You do first provisional patent, patent search, then you do a provisional patent, then you have a patent, then you file a patent, then you have trademark, and then copyright. So these are the process for that module. So once you're all done, then you go to the branding. In the branding, there's a logo design, there's a trademark search too. So there are different things that you have to follow each and every module, stages and steps. And there will be small worksheet that user can just fill out and kind of keep them together as a workbook for them, like how they started and where they are and how to get to the next level. And then the expert will teach them like how to select and find an expert for that stage. That's like how to screen them and what kind of questions they need to ask. So they know exactly when they're looking at 5 different experts, what are their strengths and how they need to pick the expert for that stage. This way they have a full team, a project management, of one full roadmap that will show them exactly what stage they are, what step they are, and who the expert they're working with. And that one roadmap they can print out and show it to an investor. Like, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm raising funds. So it's a lot of things in one platform. And we have 2 different ones, digital product and physical product. Digital product is where Eder is an expert for digital marketing and affiliate marketing, content writing. So we have 2 different kind of products right now, but later on we will expand into different other services as well.
Now, do you find there's different products that are easier than others, or do you recommend certain product categories to get into first? I mean, I've had the pleasure of being in industrial categories like hardware and houseware, and then my background is really heavy in automotive, right? But then I got into food. I found myself, there was like 4 categories, including medical, that I wanted to get into, which I started to do a little bit of that. But I found food was probably, I mean, automotive is critical and as detailed and stressful filled as I've ever imagined, with live broadcasts and having cars being built. But in the food industry, it's got its own unique, stressful situations where you've got shelf lives and when stuff is made fresh, you've got to deliver it in a certain time. You've got to have chilled areas. The logistics has got to be chilled. There's certain temperature requirements. There's SQF requirements. So there's a lot of different processes. Do you find certain fields for you to be easier than others? Like you're in the medical field. I can't imagine medical field being easy. I've had a little bit. I've touched it a little bit, and it's not, from what I can tell.
Well, nothing is easy. Yes, I do agree. Food industry is hard. Medical is also very hard. I think it depends, like, who's our target market and what is our goal. For example, if I'm creating medical device to sell and exit out, for example, right? I have to go and please my medical device manufacturer is the one that is my goal. Target customer that I'm going to sell and exit out. So I have to present everything according to that. And then I have to do pilot testing and all that stuff. That's a lot of money and effort and patents and all the steps required. Consumer product is different, which I have done so many times, so many years, that it's easy for me. So I would prefer that versus medical and food. And like my other clients, the Zipz wine got the biggest in Shark Tank history. There's also serial entrepreneurs, my client, but they didn't realize how slow wine industry is. It took them 2 years to test the product, the shelf life, for 18 months, and then actually got an order from them. So it's different. I think it's a great point what you mentioned to understand.
And this one was a pretty big one in Shark Tank, right? The Zipz. So again, pretty cool stuff. If anybody goes and looks at SnSDesign.com, they'll see that on your webpage. Pretty cool product. And I remember watching the show at the time and saying, "Wow, that's a pretty cool package and pretty cool product design." I didn't know you then, and I didn't know you were the one that did it. A lot of work, right? A lot of detail work, long process, and even getting approvals later.
Yeah,
you got to stick with it.
Yeah, but I agree, and everything comes together. The team it's so important to bring a product to market fast. My client had great connections to get the product out in the market. We were the great team to actually design and produce it. Everything they needed, from product to branding to packaging to animation to investor presentation. We were basically their design team. They were basically the finance guy, the money guy, and the marketing guy. So it was a great partnership between us. And that's the only reason we were able to do it within 10 months, which is unheard in wine industry. It's just unheard. And they went on Shark Tank and they got the biggest deal in the history of Shark Tank. It was just like, we were all kind of like workaholic team. My client was working day and night. I was working like a lot of work, but it was fun because everyone was so motivated and moving in the same direction, had the same goal. So which was great.
How about selling outside of the US? You know how I generally feel about made in USA, right? I like making all my stuff here for 100 reasons, from cash flow, capital, turnaround, speed, times, all the deliveries. I mean, and it's just easier for me with my product lines to do in the US, and it's easier for me to sell outside the US doing the same thing. How about you? What do you find for selling outside of the US?
Well, two things you mentioned, making it and then selling it. Which one do you want to focus on?
Well, I would say let's talk about selling it, because making it, at least for me, I find it's so much easier. And Carmine can jump in here because Carmine does a lot of stuff outside of the US. But for me, it's just so much easier. And on my products, the way they've happened to turn out was just on the one that we had on Shark Tank, the orders were through the roof. So having the ability to put the tool back in and react quicker and deliver it to each order was not possible if I did it overseas, right? It was all possible by being at the plant and doing it per order. So I'm saying for you, Nisha, talk about selling outside of the US. What's your feeling on that?
I don't have so much experience selling myself outside US, but I have my clients like in Switzerland, Japan, that we design products for them. But they had their own way of marketing and distribution channels. So I was not like involved in selling product outside the US. I would rather stay here in the US where I have more control on the IP, because whatever goes outside US, I have no control.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it gets expensive too. I know it gets expensive with all the taxes and even supplying to Canada and England. You got to have certain freight requirements and certain volumes. So it gets expensive. Carmine, what do you find on that? I mean, talk about a little bit about even bringing stuff in from outside of the U.S.
Yeah, all good questions. We get that a lot. I'm sure Nisha and you do too, Chris. So depending on the products that you want to bring in, you could run into customs or tariffs and different pricing. Especially now, it's really, really tough. And you have to think about how you're going to get your product landed, probably even before you manufacture it, because right now the shipping costs and tariffs and taxes could end up costing more than your product is to manufacture. So anybody that's out there thinking about that, they should really put a plan together first. Secondly, if you are going to sell in other parts of the globe, other continents, you may want to set up a secondary or redundant factory, maybe a smaller system, and be able to service Europe, Australia, things in countries that you're going to sell to. This way, you're not going to bring it into the country unless you're manufacturing it here, and then ship it back out. So in Chris's case, he's got it set up perfectly. He's manufacturing here in the U.S. The U.S. market is the biggest. He's able to supply his customers very quickly, rapidly, without a delay. And if you are going to start expanding out to other countries, you got to really put a plan in place. Get in touch with somebody like Nisha or Chris and put a plan in place to figure out where you're going to manufacture it at the lowest cost, where you can deliver it quickly.
Yeah, good way to explain it. So Nisha, let's just sum this up now. So you started out with really, liking and being involved in different type of products, all the way through now to a platform of Coach Your Idea. It's pretty cool. So what advice do you have for our listeners? What's the best advice they can walk away from today's conversation?
I have many advice, but for entrepreneur, inventor, I just want to say like they have to keep this in mind that no matter what they do, it has to tie to their life, to their personal goals and revenue goals. They have to think about this in the long run, because it will take good amount of money and time and commitment if you really, really want something to be a successful like product or business. You need that much commitment. Otherwise, it will happen, but might take a long time, if they're slow. So just if you're really serious about this, we're here to help.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I spend a lot of time talking to inventors, entrepreneurs. I try not to charge anything up front, especially when I'm just trying to help. I mean, if I start getting into, like you said, paid customers or you're getting involved with tooling and where it's really, there's some real costs involved, then there's no other choice. But I'm happy, like we do all these podcasts. I'm happy to give what my experience has been and what I've learned over the years. But I can sit here and honestly tell you that I'm talking from real hardcore experience. When I was in the automotive industry, I was one of the youngest executives in the history of BMW and Ford Motor Company, director of engineering for 4 plants and executive of running interior groups. So I lived it. It's not something I'm talking about. It's factual. Having to deliver products to a line that are running live broadcasts, and if you shut a line down because you missed an order as a sequence part, you're getting charged $1,100 a minute. It's real. It's very high level of stress. And talking about going on Shark Tank versus actually getting it done and getting on Shark Tank, another long process in a pandemic. So it's always good to hear folks with real strong backgrounds and not just talking about it as if they actually did it and trying to be an expert at it. We're talking about people, especially in my network, which Nisha, you're in my network, are really trustworthy, honest people that have walked the walk and can deliver on what they say they can do. And they've done it through hardcore work experiences and lived every step of the way. And that's a difference of somebody playing in a professional baseball team as a playing in a minor league team, right? Saying that I played professional baseball, you did, but it was single A, it wasn't Major League Baseball. So I always quantify it that way. So it's always been a pleasure for me to work with you, Nisha. And I know anybody that wants to work with you can get a hold of you on SnS Design.com as well as coachmyidea.com. And I'm certain anybody that works with you will be extremely happy because you've been an absolute pleasure from where I sit to work with and to always talk about ideas and at least work through some issues that we all face on a daily basis.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. Like when you talk about the kind of network that we have, a trustworthy network of people, us helping inventors, which is really a blessing. And I would love to have more and more of these opportunity to talk to inventors like we did for Make 48, we did for UIA. I think it's a great way to connect with the right people and the right mindset. Really trustworthy connections are the most important part.
Yeah, and I think the message we always try to deliver, like Carmine and I do a Made in America, you've been on that, but we try to deliver on life experiences. Like if I've developed a product, we talked about how it was developed, the pitfalls, the changes in packaging, how you get it into retail. It's not an easy process, and it's one that you have to follow. And he's talking about retail buyers. They get a lot of people sending them emails or wanting to know what the status is. So you got to be careful how you handle that, right? But there's a lot to do with product development and proof of concept, design, testing it out. Does it solve a problem? What's the cost associated with launching? There's a lot of detailed information. And we try to do this because we like it. For one, we like helping people. And we do have a really good, strong, trustworthy network, which is, to me, the most important, obstacle of any inventor is finding the right person to work with. That's not going to, bankrupt them or take their cash and not deliver on a promise. And I think we have that. We've done a good job with that. And there's so much information that we share that is available to anybody at any given time.
100%.
Okay,
Definitely.
so come on. I think again, with these podcasts, UIA and the Made in America and all the ones that you do are just, it's a wealth of knowledge that I think anybody listening out there, anybody that's thinking about getting in the field or is already in the field, do your due diligence, find the right person to work with.
Yeah, 100% agree. And It's an honor for me, just like you, Chris, to work with people like Nisha, work with people like you, and all the rest of the guests and hosts, ambassadors, board members, everyone that we work with, our friends at the UIA and external to the UIA. It's really cool to do. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I hear at least once a day that our podcasts, our talks, our words, our guests, they're helping at least somebody, which is awesome because it all adds up. And those people go on to help more people. And we're just proving the fact that knowledge is the key. And I think it's just great to be able to spread the word like this.
Yeah, I do too. And it's fun. I enjoy it. I thoroughly, really enjoy it. And working with folks like you, again, it inspires me, right? It makes me better to know that you guys are doing the right thing and you're working on some really cool, innovative products. And I can continue to learn from you as well.
Very cool.
Well, I'm learning, never stop learning.
Right. No doubt about it. All right, well, we're going to close with the show. Nisha, as always, it's been amazing. I just sat back and I listened to you and Chris talking, and again, it's just amazing the knowledge that you've accumulated. Chris, the knowledge that you've accumulated, and being able to give back, it just makes it all worthwhile. So we thank you guys for all you do. Everyone out there, we thank you for listening. Please go on out to the UIA webpage, uiausa.org. If you're not a UIA, United Inventors Association member, we would love for you to join up. Give us the power to show people the right way to go. If you haven't subscribed to our UAI TV channel, please do that now. And as usual, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time on UIA TV. You all take care.
Thank you so much.